Picture this pitch black street, dead of night, and out of nowhere a truck comes screaming out of the dark and T-bones a parked SUV like it personally owes it money. Behind the wheel sits a guy with eyes so cold and steady, you'd think he was waiting on his coffee order, not committing straight-up vehicular warfare. That's Cole Reed, and by the time this story wraps up, you'll understand exactly why he's willing to turn a truck into a battering ram. Cole isn't just muscle for hire. He's the guy who takes the bullet so his boss doesn't have to BO. And his boss, Thai shipping billionaire Tibu Campallo, isn't just a paycheck. He's basically the only family Cole has left. So when Tibu gets gunned down in a so-called random street ambush on the exact night he's about to sell his empire, Cole doesn't call the cops. He can't, because within hours, he's the one plastered across every news channel in Bangkok as the killer. What follows is Cole going full ghost, stealing a dead mercenary's identity, sneaking aboard a cargo ship where the real conspiracy is hiding in plain sight, locked inside shipping containers, and going to war against a captain running that ship like his own personal kill box. Betrayal, human trafficking, a Navy destroyer racing the clock, and a revenge mission that doesn't stop at the water's edge. Buckle up. Cole's about to turn an entire syndicate into a body count. If you spend your whole adult life surviving combat zones and running high-threat security, you learn one thing fast. Danger never announces itself with sirens. It just waits for the split second you let your guard down. That's the world Cole Reed lives in. Protecting Thai shipping billionaire Tibu Campallo isn't a job to him. It's loyalty, plain and simple, to the closest thing he has to family. But tonight, while Tibu is getting ready to sign away his empire, somebody out there has already painted a target on both their backs. In the dead of night, a heavy truck comes tearing down an empty road and slams straight through a parked SUV, sending metal flying everywhere. Behind the wet windshield, Cole's eyes don't flinch. Cold, locked forward. Whatever just happened, this is not the last body that's going to drop tonight. But we'll get back to that. Rewind to that same morning. Cole's posted up in the marble lobby of KMG's Bangkok headquarters, silently running threat assessment on every single person in the room, because that's just how his brain works now. A guy reaching into his jacket for a phone, a woman picking dropped keys off the floor. None of it slips past him. The second his earpiece confirms Tibu is on his way down, Cole locks in. Elevator doors open, and out steps Tibu with his execs and his son's protege in tow. Cole slots into formation like clockwork. Tibu pauses by a glass case, holding a tiny wooden fishing boat, the humble little vessel his entire empire grew out of, and smiles, reminding everyone in earshot that this is where it all started. Cole walks the team out to the armored sedan, clears the street, and locks them inside. Cruising through Bangkok traffic, Tibu notices his nervous protege fidgeting in the back and tells him to enjoy the moment instead of stressing it. Then he catches Cole's eyes in the rear view and admits something quieter, walking away from the empire he spent decades building that stings more than he expected. The convoy rolls through the gates of Tibu's private estate, and inside the marble foyer, Tibu tells Cole to finish his sweep and come join the celebration upstairs. Cole nods and heads back out to check the perimeter. No idea this is the calm before everything falls apart. Later that night, Cole finishes his rounds and heads into the estate's security office, where the on-duty operator hands him a tablet, loaded with tomorrow's gala guest list. From there, Cole heads up for a late-night chess match with Tibu, the two of them trading moves and jabs like an old married couple. Tibu asks how a tactical operator got so sharp on the board, and Cole admits he sharpened his game against the real masterminds, lifers he guarded back when he was a rookie prison officer. Tibu asks if he misses the badge. Cole shuts that down fast. He misses the adrenaline, not the corrupt politics that got him pushed out for refusing to play ball. Then Tibu drops something quieter into the game. Today would have been Cole's father's birthday. Cole laughs it off, accusing his boss of using cheap psychological warfare mid-match, but admits softly that his old man would have wiped the board with both of them. Check, mate. Tibu concedes with a laugh, but later that night, alone in the kitchen, Cole scrolls past corporate files on his tablet to an old photo of his dad, pausing just long enough to whisper a quiet happy birthday to a ghost. Morning brings discipline. Cole grinds out sprint after sprint along the estate's perimeter road, because bodies like his don't maintain themselves. By evening, Tibu steps out in a sharp three-piece suit, groaning about how much he hates corporate banquets. Cole just smiles and loads him into the sedan, heading downtown for the gala that's about to change everything. Inside the packed banquet hall, champagne flows, and Cole stays locked on Overwatch against the back wall, because old habits never die. That's when he clocks it. A man in a black suit, weaving through the crowd, deliberately avoiding eye contact with staff. Tibu takes the stage mid-speech, speech, talking about 40 years of choosing clean ethics over dirty profit. Cole doesn't get distracted. He runs a quiet facial scan on the suspicious guest through his tablet, and the name that pings back is Jaron Daniels, CEO of Trans-Pacific Exports. Filed away, watched. Tibu raises his glass, toasting his son Cameron as the new face of the company. The room erupts in applause, but Cole's eyes stay locked on Daniels, whose cold, distant stare says this celebration is about to go somewhere very, very dark. Back on stage, Tibu credits Cameron for pulling off the entire buyout, and the two slice into a cake shaped like a KMG cargo ship. Tibu gifts his son a gold Rolex to mark the new chapter, and then calls Cole up too, gifting him a rugged steel dive watch, built for combat, not boardrooms. When someone asks what's engraved on the back, Tibu tells the whole room it's the date, 5 years ago, that Cole took a bullet to save his life. He calls Cole family, right there in front of everyone, and pulls him into a hug while the entire ballroom raises their glasses. While the room's distracted with the toast, Daniels slips out to a private corridor and makes a call. Quiet, cold. He confirms to his contact that the target is celebrating and that the deal dies tonight. An hour later, Cole's driving Tibu home through the rain-soaked Bangkok streets, his new watch catching the streetlights. Tibu opens up, walking away from his fleet tore him apart, but he did it purely for Cameron, so his son could build something of his own instead of inheriting a brutal industry. Then Tibu frowns at the GPS. Why is it routing them through some random industrial sector? Cole explains, a supposed road closure forced them off the main road. Ahead in the dark, two traffic officers step into the headlights, waving batons and screaming for the car to stop. Cole's instincts fire instantly. Real cops don't work unlit warehouse corridors, and these two are carrying concealed sidearms. A dark SUV roars up from behind, boxing them in completely. This is a kill box, and it's already closed. Two armed shooters kick out of the SUV with suppressed submachine guns raised, and the fake traffic guard reaches for his sidearm through Cole's window. Cole screams for Tibu to get down and floors it, gunfire shredding through the rear glass. In one motion, Cole draws his pistol, fires clean through his own window, and drops the first shooter dead, then rams the second straight over the hood. Bullets hammer the driver door. Cole rips the wheel, yanks the handbrake, and whips the car into a violent 180, putting the Audi's nose directly on the remaining ambushers. One rifleman steps into the headlights. Cole floors it straight through him, then kicks his door open and finishes off the last shooter with two clean shots. Silence. Cole sprints to the back door, and what he finds guts him. Tibu is slumped across the seat, blood pouring from multiple wounds. Cole presses both hands down hard, trying to keep him alive, but Tibu can barely get a breath out. With trembling fingers gripping Cole's sleeve, he begs, "These weren't cops, and whatever happens, promise you'll protect Cameron." Cole swears it, holds him tight, tells him to stay awake, but Tibu's grip goes slack, his eyes glaze over, and he's gone, right there, in Cole's arms. And whatever grief Cole's feeling instantly hardens into something far more dangerous. Cole doesn't get a second to grieve. He's already on the phone with Taryn, the estate's security tech, confirming Cameron made it home safe, before dropping the truth. Tibu's dead, and the local police helped set it up, meaning nobody official can be trusted right now. He tears through the ambusher's SUV and finds a US passport, Jonathan Richard Rogers. Taryn runs the number and pulls up something huge. Rogers is an ex-Marine, currently on KMG's payroll as a deckhand aboard their flagship cargo ship, the Artemis, set to leave port in under 2 hours. This hit came from inside Tibu's own company. Cole takes the dead man's gear and identity on the spot. Meanwhile, Jaron Daniels gets confirmation the hit landed, but that Cole survived. His face goes ice cold. He orders every police channel in the city to brand Cole a cop-killing fugitive, with strict instructions not to take him alive. Across town, merchant sailor Angie Ellis is wrapping a toy ship for her daughter's birthday, when the same breaking news hits her screen. Cole's face, branded a murderer. Before she can even process it, her phone rings. KMG needs her aboard the Artemis immediately for a midnight departure. She's got a flight home to see her daughter in 3 hours. Doesn't matter. Report or lose the job. With her back against the wall, Angie packs up and heads for the docks. No idea she's about to walk straight into the center of the storm. Back at the estate, detectives start grilling Cameron. His phone rings mid-interrogation. It's Cole, delivering the brutal truth about his father's final moments and warning him the news framing him as a killer is a total fabrication. Madsen. "Lock the estate down," Cole tells him. "The people who took out your father are coming for you next." At the docks, Cole slips into the crowd of night shift dock workers, wearing Roger's stolen credentials, walks straight past the checkpoint, and heads for the Artemis, a ship that, by the end of the night, is about to feel less like cargo transport and more like a floating slaughterhouse. Cole hands Roger's badge through the security window, keeping his cap low. The guard scans it, hands it back, waves him through. He weaves through canyon after canyon of stacked shipping containers until the Artemis comes into view, massive, waiting, and completely unaware it's about to be infiltrated. He crosses the boarding ramp, gets cleared by the deckhand, and steps onto the deck. A crewman calls out Jonathan from somewhere behind him. Cole just tugs his cap tighter and disappears through a hatch before anyone can look twice. Up on the bridge, Captain Marco Madsen watches the breaking news about Tibu's murder play across a monitor, completely unbothered, like he already knew. First mate Theo walks in with Angie and her sea bag, and Madsen immediately pushes back, snapping that he's got 20 hand-picked men and doesn't need a replacement mate. Angie shoves her transfer papers at him and holds her ground until he grudgingly accepts. She clocks the Nordic pendant around his neck and correctly identifies it as a Viking symbol for protection. Madsen's mildly impressed, tells Theo to show her to her cabin, then quietly orders him to stick her on night watch and keep eyes on her the entire time. Not a good sign. Down on the boat deck, Cole finds an enclosed emergency lifeboat, slips inside, and locks it down as his hidden base of operations. Outside, the Artemis fires up its engines and slips out into open water. And just like that, everybody on board, Cole, Angie, and whatever's locked inside those containers, is completely alone with a killer running the ship. Hours into the crossing, Cole checks that the deck's clear and slips out of his hiding spot to start moving through the ship. Meanwhile, Angie sets up her daughter's photo on her desk before getting called down for night patrol. As Cole slips through the corridors, he barely dodges a passing crewman before ducking onto the high catwalk over the massive cargo hold. Thousands of tons of containers stacked in total darkness below. Down on the floor, Angie's sweeping her flashlight across the containers while Cole flattens himself into a gap between two crates, holding his breath as her beam passes inches above his head. She moves on, walking right past a hatch marked DB4. Cole drops down a level into a lower alleyway of containers, and that's when he hears it, muffled crying, coming from behind a padlocked door. Cole grabs a steel cargo bar off the deck, jams it into the lock, and cranks with everything he's got until it snaps. He hauls the door open, and what's inside stops him cold. Dozens of starved, dehydrated migrants huddled on rice sacks in the suffocating dark. A terrified mother clutches her daughter, whose leg is badly bruised and infected. Cole drops to a knee, speaks softly, tries to calm the room, and the mother tells him through broken English that the smugglers promised freedom once they hit open water and left them locked in the heat instead. Angie's voice echoes down the corridor, searching. Cole tells the group to stay quiet, promises he'll be back with water, food, and medical supplies, and melts into the shadows just as Angie rounds the corner, finds the sheared lock, and pulls the door open herself, gasping at the sight in front of her. She rushes the migrants toward the air outside, kneels down to check the girl's leg, and the mother, thinking Angie's with Cole, asks if she's with the man who promised us medicine. Angie freezes. What man? Cole watches silently from the shadows as enforcer Joseph shows up. Angie, still believing the crew's on her side, tells Joseph to grab supplies while she runs to alert Captain Madsen. Joseph gives a cold nod and starts quietly surrounding the container with armed men instead. Angie's walking straight into a trap, and she has absolutely no idea. At sunrise, Madsen's mid-shave when Angie pounds on his door, breathless, demanding medical help for the migrants she found. Madsen plays it perfectly, feigns shock, invites her in, picks up his radio, and tells the bridge to follow protocol. Angie pushes him to call the Navy. He waves it off, claims they need to handle it internally first, then quietly radios his enforcer to hold positions. That's when it clicks for Angie. This man isn't organizing a rescue. He's running a cover-up. Down in the hold, armed mercenaries scream at the migrants to get back inside the container. When one raises his gun to strike the mother, Cole explodes out of the shadows, elbow to the jaw, a brutal combo to the ribs, slamming the man's skull into the steel wall. A second shooter opens fire, so Cole uses the first guy as a human shield to eat the bullets meant for him. One brave migrant tries to intervene and takes a round to the shoulder for it. Meanwhile, up on the bridge, Angie storms in to warn about Madsen, only for first mate Theo to level a Glock right at her face, confirming he's dirty too. Down below, a third mercenary charges Cole with a knife. Cole blocks, traps the wrist, and drives the blade straight through the man's own cheek. Brutal, efficient, done. On the bridge, Theo orders Angie to back off at gunpoint, but she catches an opening, cracks her flashlight across his face, shoulder checks him to the ground, and bolts. else. Down in the hold, Cole strips a pistol off his last attacker and drops the final gunman with 2 center mass shots, clearing the corridor. Angie makes it to an emergency comms panel, frantically scanning for the right distress code, while Cole grabs spare weapons off the dead mercenaries and starts moving the migrants toward the lifeboat he prepped earlier. Angie spots Madsen storming up the stairs outside. She slams the distress button just as he shatters the window to get to her. Down on the boat deck, Cole's loading the last of the migrants when Madsen spots Angie sprinting across the catwalk above and opens fire, hitting her in the shoulder and dropping her to the deck. Madsen roars for his crew to hunt her down, storms the bridge, kills the distress broadcast through Theo, and orders the lifeboat sabotaged so nobody escapes, while demanding to know where Rogers actually went. Bleeding badly, Angie drags herself under the container supports for cover. At the lifeboat, Cole finishes loading the migrants, hands a loaded pistol to one capable man, and gives clear orders: launch the second the winches drop. Don't wait for him. He's going back for the woman who bled trying to save them. Out on the water, a U.S. Navy destroyer, the Hazard Perry, picks up the brief distress pulse. Captain Spencer doesn't like the abrupt cancellation and radios the Artemis directly. Madsen answers with the calm, practiced lie of a man who's done this before, claims a jumpy deckhand hit the alarm, mistaking a fishing trawler for pirates. Spencer isn't fully convinced, but lets it go for now. Back on land, Detective Jameis grills Cameron and Taryn about a burner call traced to the docks minutes after the ambush. Cameron, protecting Cole's secret, plays dumb. Total shock, no memory. Jameis lets it slide, but promises finding Tibu's killer is priority 1. On the ship, Cole tracks fresh blood down a stairwell and finds Angie limping, badly wounded. He pulls her into a hidden workshop and locks the door. She demands answers. Who is he? Cole tells her the only thing that matters right now. He's not with Madsen. She warns him the migrants are about to be slaughtered. Cole counters Madsen keeps them alive because they're worth money. Then Angie drops the real problem. Madsen's entire crew is now hunting to kill them both. Up on the lifeboat deck, Theo and an enforcer ambush the evacuation, executing the migrant guard with multiple shots and forcing the terrified families back out at gunpoint. Cole and Angie hear the gunfire from the workshop, but Cole holds her back. She's losing too much blood to fight yet. Angie leads him down into the maintenance tunnels, while a search team discovers the mercenary Cole killed earlier with the knife. Theo, meanwhile, finds Cole's bag in the abandoned lifeboat, the real Jonathan Rogers' passport, and realizes an imposter has been walking their ship this whole time. Cole and Angie duck into the deafening engine room, grabbing headsets so they can hear each other over the noise. Cole finally gives her his real name and starts treating her wound, pours antiseptic on it, and while she grits through the pain, he asks about her life to distract her. She tells him about her ex-husband and her 6-year-old daughter, Violet, whose custody she's fighting to win back. Cole digs the bullet out with forceps, bandages her up, and looks her dead in the eye. Once they clear this ship, she's getting back to that little girl. That's a promise, and Cole doesn't make those lightly. Footsteps echo above. A deckhand spots blood on the wall and calls it in. Cole pulls Angie into the shadows, just as reinforcements sweep through and find the bloody gauze they left behind. Out on the Hazard Perry, Captain Spencer isn't buying Madsen's cover story anymore. He orders a deep background check pulled on the Artemis's captain. Back on the ship, Angie confronts Cole directly. Did he really kill Tibu and those officers? Cole's answer is simple. It's all a setup, and right now the priority is keeping the migrants alive and retaking the ship. Angie tells him the bridge has the only working satellite comms, but storming it head-on would trigger an ambush. They need a distraction, something huge enough to scatter Madsen's men. Angie leads Cole to a hazmat cargo bay, housing industrial lithium battery banks. Cole shoves cardboard into the terminals, flicks his lighter, and the whole thing ignites into a roaring electrical fire. They slam the doors and run as alarms scream across the bridge. Madsen instantly clocks it as sabotage, dispatches his fire crew, and grabs an assault rifle to personally hunt down the man tearing his ship apart piece by piece. Under cover of the smoke, Cole and Angie push up toward the bridge, while Madsen climbs a crane mast for a sniper's view of the deck. Cole breaches the bridge, drops the lone guard with a single strike, and Angie grabs the console to scream out a mayday on open frequency. Through binoculars, Cole locks eyes with Madsen across the deck. Busted. Madsen radios his enforcer Diego to storm the bridge and finish them, but Cole's ready. He swats the rifle aside, drives a knee into Diego's gut, and puts him down cold. Then Captain Spencer's voice cuts through the radio, answering the mayday. Angie identifies herself, confirms Cole Reed is with her, and reports the entire human trafficking operation, giving their exact coordinates and begging for backup. Cole rips a rubber band around a captured radio's talk button, permanently jamming the Syndicate's private channel and turning it into a live wiretap in the process. On the Hazard Perry, Spencer hears the scuffle through the open line and orders full flank speed toward the Artemis. Cole and Angie retreat to her cabin to regroup. Looking at her daughter's photo, the weight of everything finally hits Angie. She might not make it home. Cole grips her shoulders and promises, flat out, that he's getting her off this ship alive. Up on the bridge, Madsen finds Diego down and realizes exactly who he's dealing with: Cole Reed. He moves up the timeline. The trafficking transfer to buyer ships happens in 2 hours. No more delays. Cole and Angie catch every word over the jammed radio. Back in Bangkok, Jaron Daniels gets a furious call from Madsen, demanding to know why Cole is still breathing and tearing the ship apart. Daniels admits the street hit failed and orders Madsen to finish the job before the buyers arrive. When Daniels mentions Cameron's name in passing, Angie asks if Tibu's own son is somehow involved. Cole's face goes ice cold. He doesn't know how deep this goes yet, but he swears Madsen will pay regardless. Boots pound outside the cabin door. Angie grabs her daughter's photo. Cole kicks the porthole open, and they scramble out onto the exterior hull, just as mercenaries kick the door down behind them, finding nothing but an empty room. Moving along the outer deck, Cole insists they need to get back down to protect the migrants before backup arrives, but every main corridor is locked down and guarded. Angie spots an option: a vertical ventilation shaft. Nobody's watching. Meanwhile, out on the Hazard Perry, the crew pulls Madsen's full file. Turns out he's an ex-Danish elite operative with a history of smuggling investigations and a suspected kill on one of his own men, running a private army of Spanish, Irish, and Russian mercenaries. Not a captain, a warlord with a ship. Cole rappels down the ventilation shaft, while Angie secures the line above. Naval satellites are already tracking their every move overhead. Halfway down, an armed mercenary leans over the shaft opening. Cole draws and fires straight up through the pipe, forcing the shooter back and sliding the rest of the way down into a side duct. The gunfire alerts every search team on the lower decks. Cole kicks the exhaust grate loose and vanishes into the shadows of the hold. Above, Angie tries to run for cover, but Theo tackles her from behind, pinning her down. The search team radios Madsen. Cole's in the ventilation system. Madsen orders the hold sealed and grabs his rifle to hunt Cole personally, while Theo drags Angie onto the bridge, where Madsen mockingly taunts her before assembling a 4-man kill squad to corner Cole in the dark. Out on the Hazard Perry, the numbers come back 42 miles out, 75 minutes to intercept. Spencer refuses to wait that long and launches his tactical boarding team immediately, a high-speed assault boat screaming across the waves. While below deck on the Artemis, Madsen and his hunters flip on their rifle lights and step into the container maze to corner their target. Trapped in the corridor, Cole spots a junction box, puts a bullet through it, and plunges the entire hold into flashing red emergency light. Madsen isn't dumb enough to shoot it out blind. He retreats, seals the blast door from outside, and locks Cole into the hold. Cole tests the door, confirms he's sealed in, then finds a screwdriver and starts prying open a ventilation grate instead. Not trapped, just relocating. Meanwhile, on the Hazard Perry, Spencer's officer pulls Cole's full military dossier, Royal Marine Commando, then London's elite firearms unit, and buried underneath it all, the tragedy that broke him, his own father dying to save him during a raid gone wrong. Spencer connects the dots instantly. This isn't a killer. This is a man avenging the only family he had left. Inside the sealed container, the migrant mother hums a lullaby to keep her daughter calm, while Cole crawls through the duct above them, spying an armed guard patrolling below through the vent slats. Outside, a supply vessel docks alongside the Artemis. Madsen lowers the gangway and welcomes aboard a mercenary named Bertus and his crew of buyers, there to purchase human cargo like it's livestock. Cole reaches the end of the duct, pries loose the last grate, and drops into the anchor chain locker, climbing the massive iron links, hand over hand toward the deck above. Back in Bangkok, Daniels confirms a $2.5 million wire transfer just landed in his account. Madsen assures him Cole's locked down, and the delivery's proceeding on schedule. Little does either of them know, Cole's already halfway to blowing that promise apart. Meanwhile, left alone on the bridge, Angie quietly slides a jagged shard of broken glass into her palm. Small, sharp, and exactly what she needs. Cole surfaces from the chain locker and loads a fresh mag into an MP5. A mercenary rounds the corner. Cole drops him with a burst and throws his body down the stairwell. Madsen appears at the top landing, unloading full auto bursts, but Cole holds the corner and fires back until Madsen retreats to reload. Grabbing a fire axe off the wall, Cole meets another mercenary at the hatch and buries the blade straight into his chest. Madsen comes around the corner ready for round 2. Cole closes the gap before Madsen can shoulder his rifle, slams him against the rail, and the two grapple for control of the axe. Cole Cole headbutts him hard, breaks the grip, and throws Madsen straight over the railing onto the gangway below. Cole vaults down after him. Madsen swings the axe, slicing through the safety netting as Cole rolls clear, but Madsen drives a boot into his chest and knocks him off the edge entirely. Cole catches the support cable, dangling over the open ocean, and as Madsen raises the axe for the kill shot, Cole hauls himself up and drives a knife straight into Madsen's thigh. The axe drops into the sea below. Cole grabs his collar and hip throws them both onto the deck of the buyer's ship. Both men scramble up. Madsen rips the blade out of his own leg, snarling that Cole should have died in Bangkok. Cole dodges his blind charge and unloads a brutal 4-punch combo, shattering his jaw and cracking ribs. Madsen drops. Cole pins his hand to a wooden crate with a steel gaff hook, then grabs a harpoon spear gun off the rail, levels it right at Madsen's forehead, and says 3 words that make the whole thing worth it. "This is for Tibu," before pulling the trigger and ending him for good. Cole exhales, lowers the weapon, and looks up as a seagull glides overhead. The promise finally kept. But the peace doesn't last long. A Navy tactical team storms the boat, forcing him to his knees in zip ties. Angie rushes down, telling them she's the third mate, who called in the distress signal, that the rogue crew's been wiped out, and when they ask if the man in cuffs is fugitive Cole Reed, she looks him dead in the eye and lies without blinking. Cole was shot and lost at sea. This man's just an innocent crewman. The commander reads between the lines and cuts him loose. On the Artemis's deck, medics treat the freed migrants. The little girl gets her leg bandaged, while her mother finally breathes easy under naval protection. The girl walks up to Cole and hands him a snack bar as a thank you, and her mother bows deeply before they're led to safety. Angie hands Cole Madsen's confiscated satellite phone, full of call logs from the buyers and conspirators, and tells him command is sending a relief crew so she can finally get home to Violet. She warns him going back to Bangkok means walking straight into a city that still has a kill order on his head. Cole doesn't flinch. He tells her to go be a mom and steps aboard the buyer's boat alone. On the hazard perry, the official report goes out. Cole Reed, killed in action, no body recovered. Spencer smiles quietly and lets the unidentified crewman sail off untouched because, officially, that's not his problem anymore. Cole steers toward the Thai coast, calling Taryn with the recurring number from Madsen's call log. Taryn runs it and gets a hit, Jaron Daniels. Hours later, Tibu's funeral wraps up in Bangkok. Cameron steps into his car, only to find Cole already sitting in the driver's seat. Cole drives him off, and Cameron finally breaks, sobbing out the truth. He took massive kickbacks to let Daniels' network quietly use KMG's ships, never realizing it was human trafficking. When Daniels started blackmailing him, Cameron tried to force the sale through just to escape, never knowing that decision would get his own father killed. Cole stares him down through the mirror, tells him he'll carry that guilt heavier than any prison sentence for the rest of his life, and drops him off to face it alone. Night falls over Bangkok. Jaron Daniels sits in his armored G-Wagon, casually scrolling through stock trades, completely unaware that the exact scene from the very beginning of this story is about to replay, except now we finally know who's inside that car. A truck comes screaming out of nowhere and T-bones the G-Wagon, flipping it in a shower of glass. Cole steps out, drags Daniels from the wreckage, and pins him against the twisted frame with a gun under his jaw. Daniels, coughing blood, finally confesses killing Tibu was never about money. It was about installing a compromised Cameron as a puppet CEO so their trafficking operation could run unchecked. He begs, offers millions, screams to know what Cole actually wants. Cole doesn't blink. He just whispers one word, vengeance, and pulls the trigger, ending the conspiracy for good before disappearing into the Bangkok night.